From Anshe Sfard Bethel Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of the alternate story of Hanukah. We're likely to teach and to say and to share with others that the notion of Hanukah is the notion that in the Beit HaMikdash, in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, in ancient times, in Greek times, the candle lasted in the menorah, in the Holy Sanctuary, not one day for but 8 days. Rabbi Sternbach, Moshe Sternbach of Israel, had a number of questions on this very basic and fundamental story that we all tell. And it leads to a radical conclusion I'd like to share with you today. He says, number one, why is it in the Al HaNisim, in the prayer we say every Chanukah, we say, V'hidliku nerot b'chatzrot kodshecha. And at the end of the story of the purification of the temple, they lit candles in the sanctuary, the courtyards of your holy temple. The courtyards. It was in the inner sanctuary. It wasn't in the courtyard, the chatzrot kodshecha. What are you referring to? What's going on? Furthermore, many commentators have asked many pointed, technical, legal questions to raise questions about the very story of the Chanukah menorah. For instance, how can you use shemen nes? How can you use oil that comes from a miracle? Don't you have to sanctify the oil in some sort of a vessel for it to be holy? Isn't there a necessity to do dishun mizbeach? Don't you have to sort of cleanse the menorah every morning? Don't you have a mitzvah to light it every morning? How can you just let the candles just stay there for 7 days in a row? Also, can you light a menorah before you dedicate the altar? Had the altar, the mizbeach, had that been dedicated yet? How can they do that first? And also, if you have a victory on the 25th of Kislev, on that day, then really the candle lighting should be done that night. Then the candle lighting is that evening. So the candle lighting we should do is not on the evening of the 24th going to the 25th. We should light candles starting the 25th going to the 26th, because that's when they got there. So due to these questions and many others, he comes to a radical conclusion. And that is that when we're celebrating on Chanukah is not the lighting of the menorah, the holy menorah which stood in the inner sanctuary outside the Holy of Holies, next to the shulchan, the holy table, and the mizbach hazav, the golden altar of incense. But no, that which we celebrate here is a different menorah. In order to appreciate that, we need to know the two passages in the Tanchuma, Midrash on Parshat Tetzaveh. One passage says that the rabbis say there was as soon as they lit that menorah, kol chatzer shayta b'Yushalayim, any courtyard in the entire Jerusalem, could use the light of that oil. They could see all the way. They could see small things in their courtyard in Jerusalem because of the great light of the menorah in Israel, in the Holy Temple. Second Midrash says, Rabbi Hanukah, one of the rabbis who often reports on what went on in the olden days, he said, I was in the Beit HaMikdash, and there was an amazing thing about the menorah. They lit it on Rosh Hashanah, and it didn't go out for the whole year. It stayed lit for the whole year. So it seems that the miracle of oil, that was a miracle that took place all the time. But they weren't ready for that menorah to be lit now and to stay on forever. The menorah could not be lit now. They didn't have the right oil. They hadn't dedicated the altar yet. They hadn't sanctified it. They didn't have enough. They couldn't do it. What they wanted was a sign, Shashchina Shor B'Yisrael. They wanted a sign which usually is exemplified by the menorah, that the divine presence is among us and is still with us. Usually the menorah and its amazing lasting power, especially the westernmost lamp, perhaps the whole lamp that would last a whole year, usually that was the sign of the divine presence. However, on this occasion they said, you know what? We're going to light a menorah in the courtyard of the temple, like they used to do on the Simchas Beis HaShoeva, when they used to do on the celebrations of Sukkot. And they're going to light a big menorah there. And they hope that that lamp would last and would shed its light not only in the immediate vicinity, but would shed light throughout the entire Jerusalem, just like the olden days, like it used to do in the days when they had a proper temple. And for that, they needed proper oil. To do a miracle, you need something holy and pure, and not this defiled oil, defiled by the Yevanim, by the Greeks. And therefore they found one jug of oil that indeed was holy enough with which to do this miracle. And with that they lit this menorah in the courtyards of the temple. And that menorah lit throughout the entire community. What I'd like to add to that is that, in fact, the Gemara in Shabbos talks about the type of candles that you could use in the Holy Temple, what kind of wicks, what kind of oils. And they said that, and they compare it to the menorah that they use for the night lights in the dedication, in the celebrations of Sukkot, in Simchat Beit HaShoeva. So the Gemara says, why are you comparing the menorah with the Simchat Beit HaShoeva? The menorah is one thing, but the joy of Sukkot with an outside menorah, that's a different matter. But in fact, there is some comparison, because the menorahs that they used to light in the courtyards to light things up for the celebrations of Sukkot, or the menorah that they lit on Hanukah to light up the entire Jerusalem, it has some elements of the menorah, the ultimate menorah. According to this, when we light our candles on Hanukah, we are not trying to light the candles of the temple. Because God forbid, how could we in our own homes try to light the candles reminiscent of the temple in Jerusalem? It's a nice thought that maybe our homes could be as holy as the Holy Temple. That's a nice thought. According to Rav Sternbach, that's how. What we're saying is that the light from Jerusalem, the light from the Holy Temple, the light from the Beit HaMikdash, used to illuminate all the courtyards, each person's home, each individual. And that light, we have to light it in our own homes to bring that illumination which the original miraculous lights brought to our courtyards. We need to light up our own courtyards. And in fact, it's an idea that the main idea is to light in your window next to your courtyard and light up the courtyards again, to remind us of that symbol, that the divine presence, the Shekhinah, is present in Israel. That the divine light of the Holy Temple is not just limited to the Holy Temple, but it spreads throughout the entire Israel, the entire Jerusalem. So on Hanukah, what are we doing? We're trying to bring that which is the inner light, we're trying to bring it all the way out to our own homes. Trying to extend the limits, trying to extend the ripple effect of the Holy Temple. Very often we have religious experiences, we have personal religious observances, we have communities that shine with a beautiful light within their synagogues. But we can't create that ripple effect that ripples out and shines beyond our perimeters. Sometimes we can't even get the light from ourselves to our children, to our grandchildren, to our students. It just doesn't work. The idea of Hanukah is that light that's inside should shine outside. It is, as I've pointed out, the only Jewish holiday in which we ask ourselves not just to do it internally in our own homes, but to open the windows and to share it outside. Because that's what the Beit HaMikdash did. That's what the Holy Temple did. It used to share its light. The light would have a reverberation throughout the Jewish community. And we attempt to accomplish that not from inside to outside, but from outside itself. Rather than lighting from the temple to the homes, we don't have a temple anymore, but we light our homes as if to bring back some of that spirit of the Shekhinah Shor B'Yisrael, the sense that there is a great inspiration in Israel, and it may not be coming from the temple, it's coming from our own homes. Let us hope that on this Hanukah, we can illuminate not only our own hearts, our own families, our own selves, but we can illuminate and radiate out toward the community, toward our children, grandchildren, students, fellow Jews. And let us hope that this message of the menorah, the Shekhinah Shor B'Yisrael, that there is a God in Israel, that the Jewish people have not been forsaken, the Jewish people, despite recent wars, recent tragedies, we continue to shine. The Judaism shines bright. It's not a depressing situation. It's an illuminating, it's an exhilarating situation. It's the Jewish people. It's God protecting his people. And with this joy, with this exhilaration, this light of Torah, hopefully we can illuminate not only our own homes, but the light can spread throughout the community. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Beth Helmuth Congregation in Memphis, Tennessee for our discussion of Hanukah. Join us each week for a discussion of holidays, Parsha, how-to videos as well. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz for his technical assistance, and thank you for joining us.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit ASBEE.org.